Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and I'm the Viet vegan because I'm Vietnam vegan, and I'm also not a chef. I'm a vegan recipe developer / content creator over on YouTube, well basically everywhere, thevietvegan.com, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm here to show you a childhood favorite recipe of mine, which is stir fry. I know that sounds like pretty basic, but Vietnamese stir fry is always a little bit different from the other different kinds of stir fries that I've seen. The basis of the sauce, I guess, is either soy sauce, vegan fish sauce, and traditionally it's chicken broth powder, but obviously I don't use that because I'm vegan. So I've got mushroom broth powder. It comes in a bag that looks like this. The ingredients are mushroom powder, salt, and mushroom extract. It's basically like umami in a powdered form that I always have on deck because it's delicious. So I use a basis of vegan fish sauce, which this is what I typically use here. If you don't have access to vegan fish sauce, no problem. Use soy sauce. Actually, for this recipe, I do use soy sauce. And the other thing that you can use is mushroom dark soy sauce, or just regular dark soy sauce. It adds a lot of color, a little bit of deep, sweet, sort of like caramelized soy flavor, and it just really just adds color mostly to your stir fries to give it a little extra something something, you know? Those are the bases of Vietnamese stir fry. So let me just show you how I make the stir fry. So in this recipe, I'm using chow mein noodles. Most chow mein noodles are actually not vegan. They usually have egg in them, but they are vegan, no egg. So just read the ingredients. You can also use like bean thread vermicelli or rice vermicelli as well. If you're using the kind of thick flat noodles that are made out of rice that are typically used for like pho, for example, basically any noodle that's not a wheat noodle, what my mom usually does is she soaks it in water for about like half an hour until it's kind of like soft and pliable, and then you stir fry that in with your ingredients with some water to cook those noodles in there, so you don't have to boil your noodles separately. If you're using a wheat noodle like I am, cook that separately ahead of time. I cook this for about 2 minutes because that's what the instructions say to do. You want to cook your noodles until they're just tender. They will continue to cook towards the end when you stir fry everything together, so try not to overcook them or they'll fall apart at the end. Drain and set aside. You can lightly toss them in a bit of vegetable oil to keep them from sticking together, but I didn't end up doing that here since I add oil towards the end when I stir fry everything together. In terms of vegetables, use whatever you have in your pantry. Same goes for your protein. I'm using tofu today because that is easy to find. If you can't find fried tofu like this, what you can do is you can just buy the regular firm blocks of tofu, cut them into triangles, and then fry those in oil as well. So you can do whatever you want to do. Basically, I fry them anyway. The fried tofu is just already like done, so it's easier for me. So in your preheated wok, heat 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil and then add your slices of fried tofu. If you're cooking another protein like seitan or soy curls, use the same method to pre-cook that to give it a bit of an extra sear before adding it to the rest of your stir fry. Adding it towards the end without any prior cooking means that it'll soak up too much sauce and will be too soft in the end. Once both sides of the tofu are browned, remove from the pan and set aside. Add more oil to the wok if your tofu has soaked up all the oil like mine did, and start frying up your aromatics and firmer vegetables like carrot, celery, and king oyster mushroom. My recipe post lists a bunch of other vegetable ideas if you want to change things up with your stir fry, but feel free to add whatever your preferred veggies are. I add some water and mushroom broth powder here to give the wok some extra moisture and heat to cook the firmer vegetables a little bit faster. Stir fry over medium to medium-high heat until the veggies reach your preferred texture. Carrots sliced on a diagonal like this usually take about 4 to 5 minutes cooking time to get that tender, crisp texture. Now add the crushed garlic and stir fry that for about 30 seconds before adding the more tender vegetables. The garlic cooks really quickly and can be bitter tasting if you burn it, so move fast here. Like I said, for your sauces, you can use a combination of soy sauce, vegan fish sauce, or dark soy sauce, as long as you also have the base of the mushroom broth powder to give it that like umami, salty richness. It just adds so much depth of flavor to your stir fries that I find is not really the same in any other stir fry. Not that I'm saying the Vietnamese stir fry is a superior stir fry, but I mean, I'm biased. I grew up with Vietnamese stir fry. Now you can add the rest of your more tender vegetables. These are veggies that only take a couple minutes to cook, like greens, broccoli, sweet corn, or other frozen vegetables. I'm using Taiwanese cabbage and snap peas here, and I'm also adding the tofu that we pan fried earlier. Stir fry for about 2 to 3 minutes until your greens start to brighten up. Then you can add the cooked noodles, light soy sauce, and dark soy sauce. If you haven't already added oil to your noodles, you may need to add another tablespoon of oil to loosen things up here. You can also add extra water to add a bit more steam and heat to the pan. Taste and adjust the seasoning if you'd like more light soy sauce, and feel free to add black pepper, chili sambal, or dried chili flakes here for a bit of spice. I usually add sriracha to my bowl just as I'm eating, but do as you like. To be a little extra, feel free to garnish with some diced green onion and toasted sesame seeds here. Feel free to top with toasted sesame seeds if you like, some fresh herbs, you know, cilantro, green onion, whatever you like. Obviously, you can meal prep this ahead of time. And then if you want to add a little spicy, you can add some Thai red chili on top. My dad used to always cut them on like a diagonal to sprinkle on top, or just take a bite of them because he was metal like that. But what you can do is you can also add like a chili sambal on top, which is like the Vietnamese version is like fermented ground Thai chilies and garlic, or basically sriracha. Sriracha is like the blended form of that chili paste. And yeah, you can meal prep this. It stores well in the fridge. Great as leftovers. It's a great time. That's the recipe. I hope you enjoyed. My recipes live on thevietvegan.com. Links to my socials down below. I'm the Viet Vegan pretty much everywhere. Have fun with your food. Eat plants. Save the animals. And enjoy your food.